I heard the president use the phrase, when the looting
starts... You know he's not a racist.
Can I finish? Can you let me finish?
Well, ask a question and I'll answer it.
Right.
But then don't interrupt me.
If you just stop talking for a minute, I'll tell you what my question is.
Did you want me on here to answer questions? Or did you want me on here so you could make a political propaganda
Well, actually,
point?
the only person making political propaganda statements is you so far.
I haven't made any political propaganda statements.
You said the whole thing is a left-wing myth. Everyone's got it in for poor old Donald Trump. And I'm telling you that when this thing started, the president's job was to calm things down. Instead, he said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
That's what you attributed to him because you're prejudiced against him and because what you're engaging in... Why would any
president say that?
The kind of journalism you engage in...
Oh, stop banging on about left-wing journalism, Rudy. Rudy,
in the country.
Stop banging on about the left-wing... I'm not the left-wing media.
It goes against your false narrative of
you know what we covered? You know what we've covered?
Which you exaggerate.
You know what we've... If you let me finish, I would say that the deaths of anybody in these protests and some of the rioting that's gone on is completely unacceptable. I don't care if you're left, right, whatever you are, whatever political persuasion, it is wrong.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It is wrong,
now.
But I do know that when the President of the United States used
inflammatory... Oh, stop that. You said that 40 times. That was not a quote that was taken
It's
from
one of the
racist.
most infamous quotes in America.
It is
know
not.
It,
I
and
never
I know
even heard it before. I've been in law enforcement for 20 years, Piers. I wouldn't have known where that came from.
Where did he get it from?
What a bunch of garbage.
You know what, Rudy?
And I am fed up with you.
Rudy,
you
what
are
happened to you?
Professionally unethical.
What happened to you, Rudy?
Nothing happened to me.
You used to be one of the most. You used to be one of the most revered people in America.
Lie and distort.
Yeah. Let me just tell you something.
You are disgraceful.
You know what, Rudy? You know what, Rudy? You used to be one of the most respected and revered people in America, if not the world. You were someone we looked up to. Somebody who stood for fairness.
Who wants to listen to you, Piers? I mean, really, I am. You can say anything you want because I have no respect for you. The way you're covering this and this nonsense about the fact that a man you know, and you know he's not a racist, that he went and borrowed that deliberately from a guy who said it 30 years ago.
He should never have said it. And you should be big enough to admit he should never have said it. That's the problem. You're so wound up with supporting Trump, you can't see the wood for the trees.
Misinterpreted him. You misinterpreted him on purpose to create.
I quoted him from his own tweet. What are you talking about? Why is President Trump? Why is he not?
Because it doesn't fit your narrative.
Why is
you
President?
Even report on that man being killed.
Why has President Trump?
You don't care about him because it doesn't fit your false narrative.
Why has President Trump?
What happened to me is the same thing that always happened to me. I happen to be in favor of truth and justice.
Really?
And you people are in favor of a phony political narrative.
Really? You know what, Rudy? I'm sorry, but
the interview is over as far as I'm concerned.
You sound completely barking mad. Do you know that?
No, I don't.
This is Rudy Giuliani, as stubborn as the guy he shills for, claiming still that Trump was justified in his tweet saying, quote, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Even after the whole world has realized that the quote came from a racist police chief in the 1960s, even after Twitter took the unprecedented step of adding a label to it, even after Piers Morgan, the farthest thing from a liberal, acknowledged that glaring truth, still Rudy is playing by Donald Trump's playbook and refusing to ever admit fault. Trump could claim that 2 + 2 is 9, and Rudy would go to his grave claiming that math is fake liberal news. Now, to be clear, Trump and Giuliani can claim that he didn't know the origin of that quote, or he simply heard it somewhere and repeated it. They can play dumb all they want. They can walk around saying, well, it's true, when looting occurs, that raises the likelihood of shooting, but they're clearly being disingenuous. At some point, these full-grown men have to learn to accept responsibility for the words that come out of their own mouths. Donald Trump isn't 9 years old, he's 73. When he says something steeped in racism, he owns that. Words matter, especially when you're the President of the United States. Playing stupid doesn't absolve him, just like it didn't absolve him when he invoked the word bloodlines when referring to Henry Ford. Just like it didn't absolve him when he claimed that there were fine people on both sides in Charlottesville. When everyone is willing to admit the obvious except you, that doesn't mean you're right, it means you're delusional. And beyond that, let's just grant Giuliani the idea that Trump wasn't aware of its racist origins. He was, but let's just pretend he wasn't. It's still the wrong message. It still promotes violence. The job of the president is expressly to unify, to promote peace, to condemn violence. Going onto Twitter and casually tweeting out a rhyme threatening the extrajudicial killing of American citizens doesn't exactly accomplish that. But the most important part of this interview is Piers asking Giuliani what happened to him, because the truth is that behind the unhinged, foaming at the mouth lunatic that he's become, there used to be a man who was respected not just by New Yorkers, but all Americans. Rudy Giuliani was America's mayor. After 9/11, I personally had a picture of him and New York Yankees manager Joe Torre hanging on my wall. As a 13-year-old kid, that's who I looked up to. And now, he's nothing more than a doormat for Donald Trump, defending every last racist, idiotic, corrupt thing that comes out of his mouth. From national hero to national disgrace. And yet, frankly, this is par for the course. If you're able to stay in Trump's good graces, it's precisely because you were willing to discard every last shred of your integrity on Trump's behalf. Think about the people who Trump still has around him and the wholesale shame they've brought onto themselves in their desperation to please their boss. Sean Spicer is known for nothing other than lying about the inauguration size, Kellyanne Conway for her almost comical distractionism, Bill Barr for utterly destroying the DOJ. These aren't people with even an ounce of moderation or sense or decency. They're extremist sycophants whose sole priority was staying in the good graces of an authoritarian who uses them as tools to advance his own personal agenda. And what's worse is that they're so pathetic, they knowingly let it happen. So honestly, Rudy should continue doing this talk show circuit. He should continue exposing himself as the deranged sycophant that he is so that Trump supporters, people like Piers Morgan, can see what he's become and who they have on their side. The fact is that if Trump wants this guy to be his spokesperson, if this is who Trump supporters have to align themselves with, then these interviews are doing more to push people away from Trump than anything we could say from the left. If you like that video, please check out my brand new podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll cover the most important political stories of the week and interview major players in the world of politics. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check it out and subscribe now.